Very interesting. Anna Johnson.
Yes.
What is one of the best experiences you have had at QSA?
When we went to Kilifi, you remember there was a youth conference by Kipra. The conference was about the ASAD, the arid and semi-arid areas, building a resilience on that end. So it was a wonderful opportunity because one, it was the first time I was going to Kilifi. Second, it was the first time I was also going to Kilifi under QSA. And having to learn, there is our member university, that is Pwani University, and what the environmental club was doing on that, and they were able to also showcase. Yeah, it was a good experience for me, getting to learn from them. Yeah, it remains a good
Good to think.
Okay, so Serone, this is a good one. What one organization have you wanted to work at?
Great. I think my mind just skipped to one because I think right now I'm really trying to venture into the policy space. So the Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research and Analysis, which has actually guided us in terms of what we've been doing, especially the policy bit. And because also this year QS has really engaged in a lot of policy negotiations, policy drafting. So I can say Kipra, I'd really love to work with them because of what they are doing out there. Yeah. You go first or I go first?
Let me
say.
Oh, okay.
Yes. What is the one thing you do when nervous before a panel that helps you to gain confidence?
I keep quiet. That is one. And then I try to remember what exciting thing I did maybe last night or most recently. And again, there is one I've also been taught here by the host of the show, that is Abigail Kima. Getting to know what you would want to do, how you would want to address a question in 3 aspects. What you're passionate about, and then how you'd want to direct it at the end of the day, what the action behind the question. Yeah.
Nice. Mtu anaweza kubaliwa kusema kani uongo ama ni ukweli.
What is one of the worst experience you've had as a leader at QSA?
Very interesting. Worst experiences. One of the worst. Yes. I remember. One thing with being a leader is actually when you rely on second-hand information and you've gotten to your people and you have told them that this is what is happening and this is what we are supposed to do. More so in terms of events, remembering that we are dealing with students and comrades. And then last minute, you find that the event has been cancelled due to unavoidable circumstances, or maybe something has happened that will make the event not happen. And now you have to go back to the comrades and tell them that, this is what has happened and we are not going to do this. First of all, that is actually, it shows that you are not prepared. It shows that you don't have a plan, and it makes people lose faith in you.
Yeah.
So I think in a number of 2-3 times as it has happened, that has actually counted as my worst moments as a leader in QSA. Yeah.
We wanted that.
No. Disclaimers.
We go for another one.
Yeah. What is one of the worst experiences you have had at a workshop?
Okay.
I know one of his. Yeah, okay.
All right. So there was a workshop at Africa Nazarene, I think last year. And at that time I didn't know the buses to Africa Nazarene. I found myself taking a bus to Mlolongo. So after reaching Mlolongo, I had to come back to town, and yeah, I ended up going back to my house.
And you've never talked about it.
No. We are making it exclusive only on Aliawa podcast. Yeah.
Actually, Rongi looks like more of a Machakos place. Yeah. And then I remember one of his. I think it was his first time to get to QSA, and the moment he got in, I took him to do a presentation on climate change, not having prepared and not even having anything to do with climate change. So I know that day he was a little bit ambushed.
Okay. But we've learned from those experiences. We are strong and we are soldiering on. All right. So the next question.
Yeah.
What is climate change in Swahili? My friend, ukipata hii.
I remember I had it in Citizen. Mabadiliko ya tabia nchi, if I'm not wrong. Do I need to raise my voice?
Yes.
Mabadiliko ya tabia nchi. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And please introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Thank you so much, Abigail. My name is Brian Seroni. I am currently the chair of the Kenya Inter-University Environmental Student Association, QSA. I come from JKUAT, Juja, where I did an undergraduate in environmental science. And before QSA, I was also part of the leadership of the school club, that is the JKUAT Environmental Management Association, that is JEMA. Yeah. Currently, I am working as a program assistant at the Climate Finance and Green Economy Unit and the National Treasury. Thank you.
Amazing. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. My name is John Solongan. I'm the current committee chairperson at QSA, that is Kenya Inter-University Environmental Association. My background is in finance. A member of CUNEC. I'm also looking forward to graduating in December. Again, I am a community mobilizer. I currently work for Magoso Community Center, and we do projects majorly on community development. I'm passionate about youth leadership and capacity building. Thank you.
Great. Please tell us what CUNEC is, because we don't know what CUNEC is.
Yes. So CUNEC is Kenyatta University Environmental Club. It's an environmental club within Kenyatta University. That is CUNEC. Yeah.
So I am here to just learn about your journey. So Brian, what made you join JEMA? And like, do you have a personal history, or what made you really passionate about conservation and climate issues?
Thank you so much. I think it's a very interesting journey that goes way back 5 or so years ago. And it was actually a coincidence because for me joining the club association, I think it was by fate, because I was just walking by and I saw people having a conversation and I joined in. And the good thing, very shortly they were having some elections. And before then I was really passionate about things to do with the environment because of my background, but I did not have a space where I could really share or look at what is happening in the outer space. So after learning about how the club is in the school, I decided to just listen in. And after a while, through the interest and passion, I was selected as the organizing secretary. And now that marked my beginning journey as a young climate leader in the country. And I think for me, the main motivation came in because I've always wanted to bring in change, because there's this gap between what people know and what they can actually do out there. And now starting from the club, that is when I started having some outdoor activity, participating in conferences, workshops, tree planting activities. And the more I did go outside, the more the interest grew, and that is how I got to where I am today.
Amazing. And to you, Johnson, when did your journey begin? Being a biased member of CUNEC and a chair back in 2018, how did you come to know about CUNEC, and how has the journey been so far?
Yeah, thank you. My journey has been quite awesome in the sense a lot of learning, gaining more experience in the field. It starts when I was in high school. I was a little bit reserved when it came to uh, going out or basically having something to do as a student. And what I told myself when I was joining campus, that Kenyatta University, the version of me in high school should be a little bit different, because we are now at a platform where you'd meet your future employer. You can also meet a friend. You can also meet some of these good people you'd want to meet in life when you're working on the various projects you're going to work on. And again, in Kenyatta University, during my matriculation, we are always introduced to the various clubs in the school. So it's a matter of you as a student getting to align yourself with what clubs are you interested in, and again, what are your passions. Getting to learn about CUNEC, for me, at first, I wanted to engage by moving or going out of the school. Basically, just changing the environment, not being in class, hostel, class, hostel. It started by moving, and then bit by bit, it got to now attending activities. It got to now attending workshops. And from there, I get to be introduced to what really means, what we really mean when we talk about environment and environmental conservation. And from that, the aspect of leadership also came in, because most of the time we are talking about young people being given opportunities. But again, the aspect of you yourself doing your own capacity building by getting to learn what is expected from you. So in the space, I really want, because of my background in finance, I really wanted to explore more when it came to climate financing. And I would now align myself to events and workshops that are about climate financing. And it has been a journey, and that is how I also got to be introduced to QESA late last year. And the reason as to why I also joined QESA was to have an umbrella body that would now help in navigating our way around the national concerns when it came to climate and climate change issues. And again, getting to narrow it down to coming up with viable solutions at the grassroots level. That is my journey, and happy to be here. Thank you.
Great. So, Brian, you as the chair of QESA, tell us more about the network and what projects you're currently working on.
Thank you so much. And I think QESA, as from the name that it comes, is the Inter-University Environmental Student Association. But we are really trying to diversify as much as possible, because this year we have really tried to venture into polytechnics, into these technical institutions, because we want to have it as an association of higher learning institutions. And from the name, initially it was bringing in environmental clubs, but we also came to realize that we have multiple clubs, including those to deal with green energy, sustainability, that also are part of the environmental system. And because we want to, currently we don't have as much associations that bring together environmental students and those who are passionate, so we have decided to now expand our scope. We are now having environmental students, those who are doing it as a background in their schools. We are also having those who are passionate, the students themselves, but are doing different professions. And we also have now the clubs themselves for those that are doing things to do with the SDGs, things to do with climate actions and pro-environment matters. So currently, we are really striving to become the largest umbrella, because for those who have really interacted with things to do with diplomacy, the more you form a coalition, the easier it is to increase your bargaining power. Yeah, so that is what QESA is really aiming to now bring in the voice of students, young people who are in the higher learning institutions, because we also want to bridge in what the university itself is doing in terms of the administration and now the curriculum, and now what students are doing at their own level. Yeah.
And Johnson, what particular work at USA are you focused on, and how has the experience been so far working with other students?
Yeah, thank you. As I had mentioned earlier, as part of my introduction, I'm the committee chairperson. And early this year, we introduced the steering committee, which is now working on programs and projects. We realized some of the activities we were working on spanned a year, some spanned over 2 years. And these needed the aspect of monitoring and evaluation, because when you're talking about planting trees, there's the aspect of letting the trees grow. How do you now make sure that you monitor them to a certain point? And then before you even reach to the aspect of planting the trees, there's the aspect of now doing the research on the type of trees that needs to be planted in a certain type of soil in a certain area. We've divided our programs. We have the institutions within Nairobi that are doing their tree planting in Nairobi. We have the institutions within the coast that are doing their tree planting in the coast. We have those in Nyanza, we have those in Central, across the country, because this is a national association. Maybe I'll pass it to Serone to also give bits of the projects I've not mentioned. Thank you.
Yeah, I think just to add more of the structure that we are using, currently we are adopting more of a module that we are now having a science bit that now deals more with research on whatever we are doing. We are having a policy aspect that we want to align what we are doing as per the existing and current policies. We are having the action bit that now we are doing the real-time projects, and we are having the community aspect that we now want to have the different institutions, the different people now go back to their communities and now also do the thing. So everything that we are doing right now, they are put in the frame, so that if we are doing a tree planting, we have to do research about it, where we are planting, what kind of species are there. We align it to what the ministry is doing, the 15 billion campaign, the adaptation projects that are there. The action bit are now trying to tell the communities that this is how it's going to benefit them. This goes on to the cleanups, goes on to the different projects that my colleague has mentioned. Yeah. So this year we've really had a lot of conferences, a lot of activities from the country level to the regional level and global level. And the discussions that we've really had have been more on adaptation, climate resilience, because we understand the extent that the thing we are talking about, climate change, what it has done to us. And I think as a young person, as a person who's been in the space and looking at all the documents that have been fronted ever since, we need to actually get down to the community level. We need to get down to the individual level, because when we talk about a whole topic like financing, of course we need financing, but how is the financing structured? What is it going to do exactly to a person or a community itself? Because right now we're having a lot of projects that have been there, a lot of targets that have been put there, but they're really not streaming in. And I think that also counts in with the capacity building and the understanding of the different frameworks. Currently with where I work, I've gotten to see a lot of documents, a lot of reports that have been there, the financing, the financial structure that has been there, the allocations of the different funds, but we have a lot of mispriorities in terms of what has been done. So as we go to COP28, I know a lot of output is going to be put, and financing is also one of the thematic areas. But I really want to see how young people, because as my colleague normally says, we have to merge in the creativity of the young people and the experience of the old people. So we need to now see how we are going to tap into the finances that are going to come, and how what we have in terms of ideas are going to be brought in. That is going to actually give a good step in terms of that. And also looking at the national level, because we understand what we have ratified in terms of the NDCs, the NCAP, it also counts in the long run.
So maybe to build on what my colleague has said, and again I would also want to be biased to talk about climate financing. One, we need to really differentiate between mitigation, funds towards mitigation, and again, funds towards building resilience. Yes, most of the funds are directed to mitigation, but how do we want these communities to thrive? The thriving bit comes with building community resilience, and the aspect of doing community education and community public participation. When we are talking of areas such as the Nyanza province, when you're talking about areas such as Nairobi, the grasp of information and the available information about building community resilience, be it the traditional and the current one, it's very, very much different. And at the national level, how do we go about it in terms of training the farmers? What are the plants or the produce they would want to have? And again, how do we align whatever they are doing so that they are doing it, yes, because they love it, but they are also able to get something out of it.
So what exactly would you want this particular talk that is happening in the to deliver on, especially based on the work that you do with communities, as a student and the student network? What do you want them to deliver?
Great. All right. So thank you. This year's COP, having looked at climate financing, and we all agree it has not been quite definite, defined. It needs much defining, because when you're talking about climate, when you're talking about community, building community resilience, and again talking about mitigation, I believe these are two things. The funds towards mitigation should be separate from the funds that are geared towards building community resilience. And the aspect of now bringing students into it, already at the grassroots level, there are activities and the actions that are already happening. But the aspect bit of research that comes with institutions and narrowing it down to the professors and university students misses. And when we want to talk about sustainability, the aspect of science should be there, because science should guide what is happening and translate it to a workable plan to the next 10 or 20 years. So for this year, for me as a university student, for me as someone who works closely with the Kenya Inter-University Environmental Student Association, I would really wish if COP28 can also define the training towards mitigation and the training towards resilience. And these finances should be availed at maybe the national level and be incorporated into the NCAP, the NDCs, and again maybe to at the world level also be integrated into FLOCA, so that when we want to now build resilience, we are not only talking about an year thing. We are talking about years to come, the 10, 20 years, so that whatever we are working on, our generations can see it, and again, the impact can also be seen in the upcoming generations. So for me, as a young person, COP to me would incorporate the science bit, and again narrow it down to viable solutions at the grassroots level, and also incorporate what is already there, but again advance it from the policies and from the ratifications they are going to have. So that is my take. Thank you.
Yeah, my call to action as we go to COP28 is that there should be that bridging between what really happens in the conference and what is implemented at the country level. Yeah, looking at the entire COP system, looking at how it's structured from the discussions to the negotiations, it's a little bit complex. And when it comes now to the people who are supposed to implement, they cannot really be able to grasp or to understand what has been done. Myself, being a person who has interacted with some of the negotiations, even interpreting the different documents, the CMAs, the CAPs, it is really, really tough. So if there's a way that we can have a disintegration of the documents, the negotiations, so that people can be able to understand in terms of the implementation, then this can really be a plus. And also before maybe post COP28, I believe there can always be a session that now what has been decided can now be passed down to the people. What are the delegations of the different countries? For example, if Kenya has been represented by the different people, they can now be able to come back and say, this is what was passed, this is what is supposed to be done, this is what was agreed, and as a country, this was our position to it. This year we were glad to have the Nairobi Declaration, which was also part of an African declaration, but how are we sure that whatever they're going to do there is what is part of the document? So we should really have a connection between the people who've been there, so that we just don't see a lot of photos, but we don't see what actually they've gone to do there. So my call to action is that those who are going to represent by virtue of being in a delegation, they should be able to translate it to the people. For whatever is going to be done in COP, we should also be able to understand it as youths. And what my colleague said in terms of, because the policies that are passed there are all influenced by science in terms of the working groups and everything. So we should also be able to incorporate research in whatever people are going to do. So that should actually be back-end information for those who are going to the COP sessions.